Hi everyone, welcome back to Project No Buy. In today's video, we're going to be seeing what the girlies are saying about personal style these days, as well as checking out some summer 2025 trends. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the trends, actually, and see what's supposedly hot for this summer. This is the kind of content that used to show up on my For You page all the time, back when I actually spent time on TikTok. Now I don't, but I was just curious to dip my toes back in the water and see if I was still living the way I was living 2 years ago, what I would be seeing, what I would be interested in, what I would possibly be buying for summer 2025.
Summer 2025 fashion trends from a fashion major. Part 5, in case you don't already know, butter yellow is the color of the season. Like this, or this. I need this dress, oh my gosh. Next up, we have these sheer or see-through ponchos. Like this, or this. I'm seeing a lot of ponchos overall, or tops like this with a little cape detailing. And last but not least, we have zebra print. It's definitely one of the it patterns. Like this, or this. Don't worry though, we're still seeing a lot of leopard print like this. Also, I get a lot of questions, so I'm gonna start tagging all the pieces I show in these videos on my LTK. So go look if you want, and like for part 6.
All right, let's go through some of these pieces. And again, she prefaces this whole list with saying that she's a fashion major, which implies that she has some kind of intel that we don't. And I probably would have believed her back in my days of using anything I could to justify a new purchase. So we start with butter yellow. I do actually have a butter yellow bikini from Girlfriend Collective back when they were kind of at their height of influencer sponsorships, I believe. And again, I don't actually know if they still have swimwear, and I was definitely influenced to buy this particular swimsuit by seeing it on influencers. And so that is my only butter yellow. I have never actually worn it because swimsuits are tricky. And while I love how it looks, I don't necessarily love how it feels or how it looks on me anytime that I need to go swimming. The other variable for me is that I didn't have kids when I got the swimsuit, and now I do. Now when I'm going swimming, I'm usually in a pool with multiple children, and my priority is making sure that they're safe and happy and having fun. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not always conducive to wearing a swimsuit that's designed for aesthetics rather than water play, if that makes sense. And so my butter yellow bikini has sadly not been worn, and I got it in, I want to say 2020. It's 5 years ago, so butter yellow is back. Was it ever the trendy color in 2020? I don't actually know, but that's all I have in butter yellow. I will not be partaking in this color other than that. I don't actually know if I would like articles of clothing in a color like this. It's a pastel. I don't do pastels, generally speaking. The lavender purple is really the only pastel that I consciously do, maybe a pastel pink sometimes. But I don't like how I look in the washed out colors. I prefer something more saturated in terms of when I want to look more of my best, skin tone wise, kind of, that's what I'll reach for. So I don't think I would like how I look in as much butter yellow as this top, for example. She says she needs this dress. It's an objectively beautiful dress. Again, in my opinion, you can't really say anything's objective in fashion, but it looks kind of ethereal. It's got the flowers. Is it flowers? The pink and the kind of ocean backdrop, I guess, is kind of selling it as well, the ruffles. I see it. I think it's beautiful. I know I would not like it on me. And that is me graduating. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have said, ooh, maybe I have to try it on my body, see how it looks. Maybe I would like it on me. And or, it's so beautiful, I want to own it. I want to have it, even if it just hangs in my closet. Now, I'm not like that anymore. I see it. I can think it's beautiful. But I know the color, the ruffles, the style, too feminine for me, too washed out for me. Not going to look how I want to. I don't want to have something just hanging in my closet when A, someone else could wear it and love it and actually get use out of it, because clothes are meant to be worn and not hung up in your closet languishing. And B, just because I think something's beautiful doesn't mean I have to have it or have to own it. There are exceptions still in my own personal life, right? The handbag collection that I like to display as kind of my corner sculptural art here, my leatherwork sculptures, instead of having maybe objectively higher forms of art like paintings or books or anything else. But that's still something I like to have hanging on my walls or on shelves on my walls, and am okay with that. And if some people out there like to have clothes hanging in their closets and that gives them a sense of joy and beauty, then who am I to be the one to say that that's not something you should do? I don't want to become somebody who does that, and I want to hang on to my own kind of loathing to do that or do that again because I have engaged in that behavior in the past. But again, I'm not trying to project any of the opinions in this video onto you unless you want to consciously take them on board for yourself. All right, the next thing she's talking about is sheer clothing here in the crochet. Ironically, I did get another kind of crochet cover-up style top. And again, these poncho style tops actually kind of fit some of the things that I really like about clothing. You know, the looseness, the airiness, the cover-up aspect of it. However, there's one major problem for me practically, and it's not just that I'm on a no-buy July, hopefully the real no-buy year. It's that I would have trouble playing my instrument in these, and generally speaking, if I'm leaving the house, there's a 90% chance that I'm going to be playing the viola, because that's my job. And so I would probably not have a lot of times, a lot of use cases to wear a poncho, and therefore it would not be a good purchase for me in my life. The other thing is that if I want a poncho next year, after my no-buy year, hopefully, again, this is the real one, they will still exist. And in fact, some people might be thrifting, might be reselling them rather, at that point, and then I can thrift one of these ponchos. And again, if I still like the loose cover-up kind of nature of these, I don't think that's going to change about me in a year. And if it does, then I've saved myself a purchase. So there's nothing that I can't wait a year for because I have all the basic elements of my closet already. All right, so the little tops and the skirts with lace, again, beautiful, feminine detail, not for me, for multiple reasons. Again, just because of the feminine style, and again, because lace is sometimes really itchy. And I don't have a lot of touch sensitivities, but with my clothing, if there's an option to not have something itchy, I will take that option. So lace, probably not for me. Zebra, again, I have that one zebra dress. I should have worn this for that video, but alas, I wasn't entirely sure that would come up on the trends list when I sat down to film this. Maybe I'll pull that out for the next video, my Ghani zebra dress. I've had that again since either 2020 or prior to 2020. It was purchased within my shopping craze years, and it is something that I've kept. I also have some zebra print homeware pants. They're like knit pants, and those are the pieces that I've kept. As far as animal print goes, I have owned leopard print before. I had a Ghani leopard dress. It was in my first closet try-on because I still had it at that point last year. I do not like leopard print. I will not be buying leopard print again. It's just something that looks great on other people, but is not for me. And again, I actually half wonder if the reason I keep my zebra print pieces is because I don't want to have no animal print in my wardrobe, because there's something about how animal print goes in and out every few years, or different prints are trending every year. And I just don't know if I'm ready to completely let go of it, even if it's not something I wear a lot. And I don't know. I mean, again, having something that brings you joy the few times you wear it is not something that I'm outright against. I'm not an extreme minimalist right now. And for me, owning the Ghani dress, having it hanging up in my closet, wearing it occasionally, and feeling kind of cool when I do, is still enough value to make it worth keeping for me. And so we'll see if that changes. But again, animal print being a trend, it's bit me in the past, it's gotten me. Same thing with things like polka dots and plaid and gingham and whatever. It's gotten me in the past. I don't fall for that anymore. I know that in general, I don't really like prints, and the pieces that I have are more than enough to satisfy any urges that I have to wear a printed piece. All right, let's see another summer trend predictions video. Or forecast video. I guess we're kind of in summer now.
Let's talk about summer 2025 fashion trends. Follow them, don't follow them, but these are a few things I personally am going to have in my arsenal going into this season. First up, Bermuda shorts. I got a pair of denim Bermuda shorts recently, and when I wore them, everybody was asking me where I got them from. These are definitely like trendy again. It's kind of funny to see them come back in style, but honestly, I'm not mad at it.
All right, first thing she talks about is Bermuda shorts. I'm mad about it. I mean, I'm not mad about it for other people, but I will never do Bermuda shorts. I have learned that I do not like any kind of in-the-middle lengths of clothing on my lower half, especially. It either has to be short or long, and something in the middle is a tricky use case. I have some skirts that are midi length, and I keep those for performances, just because you can't wear a mini skirt to perform in the classical music world without getting some kind of comment or judgment, and I don't need that. But I personally will not be partaking in any kind of in-between length of clothing. And again, I think for women of different heights, different proportions, different style vibes even, it doesn't have to be based on what looks flattering. Definitely not. I'm not a believer in that, but I just don't like how the in-between lengths look on me, and it might be for reasons of what's flattering or not as somebody who's tall. Like, it just looks, whenever I wear capri pants, to me at least, it looks amazing on people of shorter stature, and it looks like I just have pants that were supposed to be long but are too short on myself. That's just how I feel about it.
Next, this like silk midi skirt tank top outfit combo. Yes. So casual, pretty. And again, it just makes you feel like you're on vacation. And that's really like the vibe I'm trying to embody this season. It's this like Carrie Bradshaw format. I am in love with it.
Again, we're here with the midi skirt in between length that I'm not a huge fan of. Again, this outfit is a little too formal for me, even on vacation. And again, I am somebody with kids, so your life may be different. And it is something that I can already make, right? Like, I have my kind of form-fitting undershirts or tube tops, tank tops, they don't have to be undershirts, and midi skirts. So while it might be something that's trendy, it is something that I already have, not because it's trendy. So I guess, to use her lingo, I'm not mad about this one, but probably won't be wearing it.
Which on that note pairs so well with like a cute kitten heel sandal, a mule sandal as well. Whenever I just like don't want to wear flats, I don't want to wear like a flat sandal.
Whenever I don't want to wear flats, yeah, that's never. So for me, again, sorry if I sound salty in this video. I'm not trying to nitpick on her or on people who like the trends. This is me now. This is my brain now saying, whenever you don't want to wear flats, yeah, that's never. Next, like, I will never wear a kitten heel mule because I'm probably going to throw my bag out.
You can handle this much heel. This much heel is comfortable. On that note, let's talk about scarves, silk scarves.
All right, silk scarves. I actually just decluttered one of these into the ThredUp bag, and that might have been stupid. It was like a $70 scarf. My husband actually got it for me. It was on my wish list like 2 years ago. Again, at the height of my shopping frenzy, I was watching all these videos. There was one particular creator who had this, I'll drop a brand name, Ozma silk scarf, and she wore it in so many different ways, and I drank the Kool-Aid and thought, wow, I could be cool if I had a scarf, a silk scarf. I could wear it as a bandana, as a headband, as a top, just like this creator is saying. But I did not like it, and it was a stupid purchase. I did not need to want it. It was just something that fulfilled a temporary, the pain of desire, the fulfillment of receiving that item, and as a gift from my husband, no less. And, arguably, I could keep it for that memory. I could also put it on a bag rather than wear it. The color, though, it was just way too warm toned for me. I got the same color that the influencer had, and that influencer has a very different complexion, and it looks great on them, on her. And on me, it just didn't work, or it could work, but not for how I like to look, or how my style, the other pieces in my closet tend to lean more neutral cool, but that particular piece was very warm toned brown, and it just threw everything off. So silk scarf, it's a no from me.
Wearing them as a little tube top like this, or as a little headscarf. I'm also into these like neck scarf outfits.
Neck scarves, likewise, no. My application for neck scarf is if I'm traveling the world and I have a simple cotton scarf that can work as a layer, like a blanket layer on the plane, a headscarf layer if I'm going into any museums where you need to have your head covered or temples or whatever. That's my application for a scarf. It's a cheaper kind of cotton, colorful scarf, not something to elevate my outfit. Very much a practical item for me. Again, looks great. In my heyday of shopping, I would have seen this and thought, wow, I could be like that if I had this scarf. And I would have wanted to try it. I would have wanted to try it enough that I would have bought this. And then a couple years later, I would have been decluttering it because it's not part of my innate style desires. So that's just my evolution, I guess, in seeing trends like this.
Maybe during like really hot days you wouldn't do this, but like imagine a nice summer evening, you're going to dinner. It's just a great like transitional piece to bring your summer daytime outfits into the evening. Just really simple basis for the summer is really what I'm gravitating towards. So like this really plain white tank top with a pair of cute white jeans and a cute belt. Like she didn't have to do too much here, but she still looks so cool and put together.
White jeans or white pants are kind of a no from me. I still have a pair of white denim shorts because I just haven't let go of them yet. Kind of waiting to see if I wear them this summer before making any moves there. They still fit. They're not uncomfortable, so there's no practical reasons to get rid of them. But white pants, I had a pair of loose white jeans, admittedly not the same cut as these ones, but I felt like a painter in them. And I think there's just something about how this outfit is white and white. I would probably feel like a house painter or an artist even, but like, again, maybe also part of it is that I don't have this body type. Again, it's kind of hard to say because I don't know if I see myself the same as everybody else sees myself, truly. I don't have anything like body dysmorphia that I know of, but when I look at this girl in this picture, I see kind of maybe more of a stereotypically feminine figure. The biological female features are there, and I just don't really have a lot of those. And so I don't think I would look the same, even if I wore the exact same outfit here. And so the look that I was striving to achieve would fall flat, even if I had exactly the same pieces of clothing.
Also, I love leaning into the summery jewelry. I got a pair of starfish earrings from Cezanne recently. Oh, they look so good with everything.
Again, my history of having kind of more avant-garde earrings or more kind of cutesy character earrings has been that I don't really wear them. And as you've seen in my videos, it takes a lot of effort to consciously remind myself to change my jewelry, just because I am in an era of life where practicality is everything. And while I still do own some kind of fancier earrings, I still have the earrings that are oranges, and I still have some little hearts from the fair trade store. I think I still have watermelons, some kind of cute fruit themed earrings. I tend to not change my earrings that much. So any purchase like this, no matter how pretty I think it is, although I don't really love the starfish, but just hypothetically, if I really loved the style, it would just not be a smart purchase for me at this stage of my life.
You could be wearing like the most basic outfit, but then you add a starfish earring or a shell earring. Now you're a summer goddess. Also a really nice maxi dress, like a slip dress, a little crochet dress, anything backless, honestly, I am on board. Something about like silk in the sunlight. It's just gorgeous and it plays with your silhouette. Love a good maxi dress.
Again, maxi dresses and backless. I think these are things that if you already like them, you probably have one. If you're an adult and have been an adult for a little while, right? Like if you're coming out of high school and you have never had the occasion to wear maxi dresses or anything backless, maybe not. But my point is, if you haven't tried these things before, or if you have tried them and don't like them, now is not the time to try them because somebody is saying they're trendy, or to try them again because you're seeing it and you think, oh, maybe I should give that another chance. So that's just my 2 cents on the maxi dress on anything backless. There are just practicality issues to be had there. Again, you either like or don't like full length on you, and you either can or can't tolerate wearing a backless garment. At least that's my experience.
And of course, we have to mention capris. I've been wearing capris all spring and
Okay, capris. Again, my point on the first slide there of the jorts or whatever it was, Bermudas. No, thank you. Not for me. But let's see what she has to say.
do not plan on stopping anytime soon, especially during the summer. Just such a fun way to do something a little bit different for your bottoms instead of like wearing jeans, shorts, a capri. Why did we turn our backs on her before? And also they're just so comfortable. It's like wearing leggings. What is in your summer 2025 arsenal? What are you going to be wearing this season?
All right. Let's go to one or two more before we switch tactics and see what people are saying about finding your personal style. All right, we have to see this next one because it's trend predictions for the cool girls. And who doesn't want to be a cool girl?
Hi divas, here are my 2025 summer trend predictions for the cool girls. First of all, we have layered tank tops. We've seen this casually trending for a while now, but I think we're going to take it up to the next level.
Absolutely not. If I'm wearing a tank top, it's probably because I'm hot. I don't need no layers on there. No, thank you. Also, this is giving me flashbacks for middle school, and I can't do it again. I can't.
And start messing around with like the neckline and the length of the tank tops. I noticed that Skims just did a campaign with a ton of influencers entirely based on layering tank tops. This is very nostalgic for the girlies that were in like elementary and middle school in the early 2000s. We're gonna have a little 2025 version of that. Next up, we have scarves everywhere for everything. Again, I feel like this was trending in summers past, but we're going to take it up to the next level. Scarves tied as headscarves, under hats, over hats, tied around our waist as a little accessory. Obviously, everybody's tying them on bags. Next up is questionable pant lengths. I'm talking micro, itty bitty micro, all the way to like past knee length jorts and capris. The line between jorts and capris is getting so concerningly thin. Sometimes I genuinely see girlies and I'm like, is that a jort or is that a capri? So shorts and pants of many lengths, just none of them are going to be normal. I made an Amazon storefront because I've been finding so many good things on there, and a ton of these trends are super affordable and accessible. If you're still here, I'm trying out a little new format like this. I've never done like a trend predictions video.
All right. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Well, I for one will not be doing this to myself. I will not be layering tank tops. I will not be making my summer outfit unnecessarily heat retentive. And I will not be wearing questionable pant lengths. I won't do it. And if that's what it takes to be fashionable, then my days of being fashionable are over, and I am okay with it. All right, one more, and then we'll flip to personal style.
It's that time. All the summer trends are out. Talk about all the summer 2025 fashion trends that you'll be seeing. Let's get into it. They are truly my favorite yet. First off, we are labeling the summer as siren season.
There we go. We have a label, siren season. It's kind of like office siren on vacation, I guess. It's a big no from me. There's something about the label of siren for women doing it to themselves. And again, this is just me being possibly over analytical here and taking the fun out of things that don't need to be over examined. I just don't like it. I don't need to be a siren. I don't want to be a siren. Even if I was single and looking for a partner in life, I don't necessarily know that that's how I would want to think of myself going out into the world that way. And maybe there's just something about being in your 20s, which I'm no longer, and having that main character energy, or, you know, late teen years, maybe you want to be a siren. Maybe that's the demographic of people this is for. But there's just something about it that, as they say, gives me the ick.
In this, you'll be seeing vacation outfits for everyday outfits. Huge theme that you'll be seeing within this is salt and silk. Salty, beautiful satin outfits. Whether it's a set like this, more feminine like this, or with embellishments, you'll be seeing salt and silk everywhere. This is no secret, no surprise, but crochets and knits, fishnet materials are taking over absolutely everything. And anything along these lines you'll see everywhere. You'll see knits with embellishments.
Ooh, these knits with embellishments kind of make me mad. And I see them as destined for landfill, because how is anybody going to repurpose a garment like this? How is anybody going to wear this multiple times? Like, if it's good quality, then, you know, it'll be a choice to wear it multiple times, have that be a core part of your look. You can't really wear it in seasons that aren't summer, aren't hot. If it's poor quality, these things are going to be falling off. You know, how are you going to wash these things? And it's just not practical to the extent that even people who wear impractical clothing, I just feel like this isn't a piece with any longevity. So honestly, this one kind of makes me mad.
Of course, the pearl and shell edit that we've been seeing in sets like this. Of course, this with a belt, with a little seaside sparkle, and even something like this for everyday wear. With jeans, it can be very practical. You just have to get a little creative with accessorizing. What this means is we'll also be seeing lots of raw textured materials. Think coastal muse, barefoot glam, and sun washed with different colors of the sunrise and sunset. That we'll be seeing textures and bags and outfits like this. Of course, the infamous shell purses we've been seeing.
It also really reminds me of, is it the 90s or early 2000s? Like, why are we going back there? And again, we're not going back there. This is trends for people that weren't there, I have to assume. But, you know, maybe this is the age that I step off the revolving door, having been to all the destinations or the rotating carousel or whatever it is. And maybe that's just the cycle and how it goes. Like, maybe that's how normal women or whatever, how we interact with trends until we've had them all, and then they start over and we're out. Let me know if that's how you feel in the comments below. I'd be fascinated to know if I'm the only one here, or it's almost like fashion has stopped being fun. And is that just a natural progression? Or is it a combination of that plus me getting more wise and prioritizing different things? Like, is that because of age? Is this a normal coming of age story that everybody has? And or is it possible to get to this point sooner? I guess is my burning question, my desire for the next generation. Does everybody have to go through this cycle of pain and overconsumption?
Woven textures and knits combined, textures and glam, essentially anything wicker or straw. This will be the summer vibe, which does mean you'll see it in dresses. Embellishments are huge this season, and accessorizing is taking on a whole new look as we're introducing these textures. You're seeing bracelets like this everywhere with so much natural inspiration. Charms became a huge trend. So
again, the bracelets and charms, it's from my childhood, and I don't really like it. That's all I have to say. I also can't really wear that kind of bracelet. Again, 90% of the time I'm out, it's because I'm doing my job. I can't wear that to do my job. So it's just an automatic no on that basis.
We're incorporating them not only in bags and shoes, but in bracelets, necklaces, belts, of course. Also be seeing them in bikinis along with embellishments. And this summer is all about maximalism. So you'll see rings and nails just like this, with colorful stones, more natural materials, of course, pearls, shells, flowers. The next trend that we will be seeing is studio siren. Think urban mermaid, chic and edgy. We're seeing sleek, wet hairstyles, metallic sets, mermaid core materials like shell tops paired with trousers. This is the runway inspiration that we are given. Think Soho meets mermaid glam. The next trend I'm calling Brat Pack Summer. Of course, think of a Bratz doll. Think mini skirts, bedazzled bags, low-rise jeans and pants, a bit of edgy Von Dutch, and most importantly, unapologetic glam. This is my favorite way to incorporate it. It's the easiest for me. I always do a low-rise set like this. Think dressing up your Bratz doll. Think mini skirts and layers, low-rise everything. For those of us who dress a little more chic, adding this edgy belt is a great way to incorporate it.
It's just all recycled and repeated. So we have come full circle. And I guess to that point, the personal style TikToks that I found are more ageless in that regard and therefore more appealing. And I really do question now, in the midst of this particular reflection, whether just being a more conscious consumer is something that develops as we get older. I do know that it's a trap we can fall into at any time. It's not something that anybody is necessarily born immune to or stays immune to without conscious shaping of values, right? Like I could see myself falling back into it if I don't stay vigilant. And I did fall back into it last month even. So, you know, when I relapsed and fell off the wagon and am trying to drag myself back on. But even so, it's not based on trendy fashion anymore. It's not based on makeup. And I just wonder if I finally reached the age, the wisdom in my, whatever, my prefrontal cortex has developed, as they say on the TikTok social medias or whatever, if that's just part of the journey and if it's even possible to get to this point sooner, or if it's even possible to avoid the overconsumption. And tangent incoming, I opened one of my old Google Gmail chats from probably, well, it was definitely undergrad and college. And I was talking to somebody about how my mom was sending me some skirts that a friend of hers gave to her to give to me. Again, same with the Dior bag, like Korean parents, they share things. But anyway, so she was mailing me some skirts and I was telling my friend, it's unavoidable for me to get material possessions even when I am trying to be a minimalist. So when I was in my early 20s, I was much more interested in being a minimalist, not acquiring things, saving money probably. I didn't have any money back then, or I had very little to live on and had to manage it very carefully. And my values were much more in line with conscious consuming. And I definitely fell off that path when, honestly, the pandemic had a lot to do with it in terms of the trajectory of my own purchase patterns. But I do think I had niche periods. I do remember in undergrad, even while I was being very careful with money, there was a time that I bought a lot of violin accessories. So chin rests, things to try. And, you know, part of that was motivated by wanting to get better at the violin and feeling the struggles of doing a bachelor's degree and, you know, maybe not feeling great about it all the time. My performance abilities, my practice, how it was working. The violin world in particular is very competitive. I feel actually a lot better being a violist and playing the viola and not the violin. But that's maybe too much of a tangent for this channel. But anyway, in general, I was not as much of somebody who would tend to shop back then. And then for a period of a few years, I became that person. And is it solely because of the exposure to influencing media? Was it a kind of midlife crisis? Or, you know, what was it? I kind of want to get to the bottom of it so that I can kind of, again, I don't want to say that I want to lead people, but I want to figure it out for myself and those directly influenced by me. So the people in my real life that I interact with on a daily basis, especially people younger than me, like kids and other relatives. And this is the kind of thing that really interests me, I guess. The why we do it, the how we get into it. And if I can find answers to things like that, you know, those are the things that I'm truly excited to share. Anyway, personal style. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see how it kind of counteracts the trends. There is some hope in what's being shared on TikTok. I'm pleased to report.
This is a hot take that a lot of people aren't going to want to hear, but if you're not re-wearing your clothes, and you're not reaching for really similar or the same items almost every single week, and that could be accessories, I'm not saying like the exact same shirt or whatever, then it's likely that you haven't developed your personal style yet.
All right, so I actually don't think this is a hot take. And the fact that this creator feels the need to say that it's probably a hot take is kind of a reflection of the landscape of influence and trends and fashion consuming that we live in, that we operate in. But again, I think this is very normal. I think this is what we should aspire to. Let's listen a little bit more to what she has to say.
Because I feel like for you to know that you've developed your personal style is like, okay, like those glasses remind me of Ashlyn, or like this about this certain person. Like, people should be able to identify you with certain clothing items, certain accessories, a vibe even. And if that can't be distinguished and you're constantly wearing like 7 different outfits every day and you're never wearing the same things, it's like, how could you develop personal style if you don't figure out what you really, really like, invest in those pieces, and wear them often? Like, that's what creates personal style. And when you just shift between new things all the time, it's like people aren't going to recognize you for a certain look or certain items. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you're not re-wearing your clothes, it's like, how are you building your personal style?
Yeah, nothing really to argue with there. And then because I was curious, I did click on her profile and I did find a couple of examples of her wearing the same pieces. So let's check that out. So we have an outfit where she's wearing a black tube top, a headscarf, so admittedly some of the trends for summer, big gold earrings, and capris. So, you know, we're engaging in some of the trends, but she did also wear that same black tube top in a different way with the same earrings. And was she wearing the sunglasses in the other video, or was it just the one where she was talking? But anyway, we have, again, some oversized jeans and a baseball cap here. I could actually recreate a lot of aspects of this particular outfit, again with the tube top and large jeans. And if I wanted to recreate the outfit in particular, I could wear the hat and the earrings as well. But I don't have small sunglasses like that, and they are not part of my personal style. So you would see me in Ray-Ban aviators. But yeah, I like her point, and I like that she does show some of that on her channel, even if there is also a lot of kind of variety as well. I think she's trying to kind of straddle that line between style influencer and fashion influencer, and, you know, moving along though. It's not my position or desire to criticize this creator.
You have no sense of personal style, and that's why your outfits aren't hitting. But we can fix that. Here are 3 things that will help you find your personal style. Step 1, get off of Pinterest. If you don't already have an established personal style, then all Pinterest is going to do is fill your brain with worms. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Pinterest. Going on Pinterest with no direction and just copying and pasting outfits isn't going to help you find your personal style, unfortunately. This leads me into step 2. You're going to find what I like to call the pillars of your personality. This is what's going to guide you in what it is you want to say with your fashion choices. In order to do this, you're going to have hobbies and interests outside of fashion, and that is just a fact.
There's been a lot of discourse about having hobbies and interests, and I don't want to get into that can of worms there, but this is something that I both appreciate in terms of finding the pillars of your personality and approach with some trepidation, because I don't want it to go into territory, at least for me personally, I don't want to go into territory of finding a personal brand or creating a personal brand. I don't want to be a brand. I don't want pillars of my personality to become, you know, things that dictate my choices and how I live in a conscious and calculated way, right? So let's see where she's going to go next with this. But I do approach this one with a little bit of, I mean, I like it, and I also want to be a little bit careful. But let's hear her out.
So sit there and make a list of all the interests, all the hobbies, all the things that shape you as a person. The list can be as long as you want. Maybe you're into fantasy books, your culture. Maybe you saw your mom dressing a certain way growing up and you take inspiration from that. This is going to help guide your fashion choices when you think about what really shaped you as a person. And remember, you don't have to incorporate all of them into every single outfit. This leads me into step 3. Stop trying to define yourself. Stop trying to pick an aesthetic, because as one of my favorite authors said, to define is to limit, and that is so true. A lot of times my outfits look like they came from completely different people's closet. Once you figure out the pillars of your personality, then you can pop back into Pinterest. You're gonna have people lining up to ask you, what is this style called? What is this style called? Like, that is the most commented thing I get on all my videos, because my style is like Naomi core. It's what's personal and unique and genuine to me as a person. And once you become confident in who you are as a person and what it is you have to say, building outfits is going to be so much easier, and you're going to have that personal style that you've been looking for. Okay, I hope that made sense, and I hope that helped, but let me know if you guys have any questions and comments. Okay.
All right, so let's see some of this creator's outfits. Let's see some of the Naomi core, just for fun. And incidentally, we did kind of see some of those trend elements, right? Like I guess if I had to label this from the summer trend information, it would kind of be like the Bratz core, the low rise, low waisted things, the kind of details, shorter skirts, kitten heels, But there's definitely a lot of this creator's personal style in there too, right? Like not all the elements are cohesive. They don't all fit into that box of the trending. I mean, she said this is outfits she's wearing this spring. I think it was a pin post on her page. But yeah, I mean, this is somebody who has reasons for wearing what they wear. I think I have a couple more here to share. So let's watch the next one, which is about how to find your personal style. So the secret is to do XYZ.
As a fashion stylist, I'm here to tell you the secret to good personal style is playing dress up with yourself. Personal style is like a muscle. If you don't continue to work it, it's gonna get weak, just like any other muscle. You need to set aside time for yourself to play in your wardrobe. Now look, not everyone cares about fashion. Some people have bigger fish to fry. They just wanna put on a cute little athleisure set and call it a day, and that's perfectly fine. But if you are someone that cares about how you present yourself, if you're someone that wants to cultivate a sense of self through fashion, find a personal style that really reflects who you are. Like when I walk in a room, I want people to get a sense of who I am before I even open my mouth. I want my clothes to talk for me.
Now, I've talked about this on this channel before, about whether I believe that you can convey something about yourself truly with the clothes you wear. And people are going to judge you no matter what. So something will be conveyed when you walk into the room based on how you present. So I guess wanting to have some control over that perception is a fair thing, even if it's something that I've obviously put on the back burner at this stage of my life. But like she said, that's okay. I don't have to put more effort into it right now.
So if you're anything like me, you need to put on a banger playlist, get in your wardrobe, and just start trying on. You'll be surprised at the combinations that you will come up with when you just allow yourself to have fun and be creative. These influencers will have you out here thinking you need to buy every new hot item in order to have cool style. It is simply not the case. They're trying to sell you. I promise you, your wardrobe is perfectly fine the way it is. You just have to come at it from a different angle. So if you take one thing from this video, it's to never stop playing dress up with yourself.
All right, love that. Your wardrobe is perfectly fine the way it is. The influencers are trying to sell you. Redacted for swearing. I have one last video. Again, the videos kind of started in the realms of personal style and ended in the realms of maybe you don't actually have to engage in fashion. And that's kind of how my personal journey has been as well. So let's just tie it up nicely with this last video.
This may be a bit of a hot take, but not everyone was meant to have personal style, nor was everyone meant to care this deeply about it. Now let's talk about it. This one YouTuber, I don't remember her name, but I'm gonna put her name on the screen. She was talking about these fashion interview videos. It's just basically those videos where an interviewer picks out certain New Yorkers on the street that have really, really cute outfits and just asks them questions like, where is your outfit from? What do you do? It's usually focused around what they're wearing. And she pointed out how the interview would pick out these very specific individuals with very cute, curated, fashionable, stylish outfits. But in the background of the videos, the other people, the other New Yorkers, were wearing the most basic outfits. I'm talking black coat with some jeans and some black boots. And it got me thinking, do people really even care about personal style? And if they do, would they care so deeply about it if it wasn't for their For You page? Stick with me, I promise I have a point. With our For You pages showing us so many creative people, so many fashionable people, so many people that care about clothes and care about their style, did we fool ourselves into thinking that that's the majority? And because people think that's the majority based on the very curated For You page or the very curated algorithm, we all think that we're supposed to care this deeply because we're seeing it on our screen so often. When in actuality, we're just seeing a few people out of millions, we're seeing a few people who like fashion thinking that that's how we're supposed to think. Is that making sense? Now, obviously, I'm a fashion content creator. I'm someone who enjoys fashion a lot. I post about fashion a lot. But if you don't, it's okay. You don't have to care about personal style. You can simply just have other interests. You can have other hobbies. It's the same thing how some people care about cars. Some people care about the motor, they care about the engine, the wheels, whatever. And some people just need a car to get to point A to point B. So I want you to really take time to think, do you really care about your personal style? Do you really care about having personal style? Hopefully this video made sense. I didn't write a script for this. It's just something that I just been thinking about for a minute. So it's really just all coming off the top of my head. But yeah, I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Mic drop. I couldn't have said it better myself, so I didn't. I let her say it. I am still, as somebody who has realized that the phenomenon she's describing here, where the fashion outfits you see in the interviews, what the girls are wearing, the For You page is curated of the people who care. And want to show that they care about this, right? I did talk about that earlier, about how wearing a certain thing doesn't necessarily communicate anything unless the people perceiving you also know about that thing, right? So somebody who cares about fashion or knows a lot about, let's just say, handbags, might know the brand of handbag that I carry because they care about it, and that's how they have that information in their brain. Most people who don't know anything about handbags, let's just take the average man at my workplace, person who's just not into handbags, won't have any idea what kind of bag I have. They won't know if it came from Target or is a Chanel, right? Like, they don't say Chanel on them, but like, let's just take it to the extreme, right? A lot of these, again, stereotypically men, just don't care enough about handbags. I guess actually when I think about it, the marketing for this handbag company, I've never actually seen a man in the commercials on the website. So maybe that's changed by now. Anyway, huge side note. Would love more men to wear these bags. But my point is, nobody I work with, except the people who know, actually know. People who care about these bags actually know. And same with the For You page on TikTok, except people like me on the other side have bought into the illusion that more people care than actually do because it's what we see. I think she got it exactly right. And again, when we see this is what the girls in Paris are wearing, in Milan, in New York, our focus is not on the people in the background who are just in normal clothes. It's on the person in the interview, on the main character, right? And we want to be the main character seeing some of this content. Some of us don't, right? Like, some of us at the thought of that would be like, no, please don't talk to me, move on. But I think there's something about watching it as content that even if we have that kind of introverted impulse maybe to avoid that kind of attention, we can start thinking that having that style is something to aspire to, even if it's not something we would put our time into otherwise, right? We kind of see it emulated, see it modeled rather, and want to emulate it, want to say, oh, okay, like, we see it and think maybe we should do it too, in other words, or it would elevate us to an extent to be like that in some way. And so it's become somewhat radical to think about your personal style. Again, not in real life, but in the spaces of TikTok, right? You can't really be a fashion creator if you don't like personal style. And maybe that's an obvious, that's an obvious statement, because somebody who doesn't like personal style may not be a fashion creator. But to me, it's not a stretch to think that somebody who wants to be a fashion creator but doesn't actually like fashion could still find themselves in that position, especially in this day and age, because maybe they like shopping, or they like stuff, or they like, they want to be an influencer, and the way that they engage is through showing the new Amazon basics of clothing, right? Like, I'm going to be honest as well, like, I think I've seen some influencers who don't really like style and fashion, but they do like shopping, or they do like a specific brand, and they have developed an obsession with it. I mean, even myself, I just shared that I had 50 pieces from one brand of clothing. If I wanted to become that brand's influencer, all I would have to do is post the try-ons and the reviews of that particular brand, and, maybe not in this day and age with the controversy of that particular brand. But what I'm saying is that as somebody who liked to buy that brand, that's enough to possibly create a following of other people who were influenced or who were interested in that brand and wanted to get the review content and see some outfits modeled on a real person before buying the clothes. And so, just things like that, I think, can create a false sense of being interested in style, interested in fashion, making it seem like more people are interested than they are, and making it seem like it's a good thing, it's some kind of virtue to be interested in developing a personal style. And so as I sit here talking about personal style, and also how I'm not sure how much time and energy I want to devote to cultivating a personal style, it's a little bit of a bizarre crossroads here. But at the same time, as somebody who used to buy a lot more clothes and engage with trends a lot more than I think was innately desirable for me, maybe it's not a bizarre crossroads, because maybe this is the crossroad that had to happen so that I can continue on this path of not being too interested in personal style, in trends especially. Personal style, maybe I can still be somewhat interested in, given that I have one regardless of whether I curate it or not, right? People wearing the jeans and the Walmart t-shirts or whatever it is. I just say Walmart just because it's a store that's nearby where you can get clothes. It's not supposed to signify anything, although it will. It will signify something to you in your mind. You will have had some kind of judgment or impression just on me saying that. But, those people are choosing what to wear on some level and curating, even or not curating, as the case may be, how they present to the public. And so, there will be some element of how I want to show up in the world. And, there's also an element of I already have all these things. And honestly, I do kind of think that my style priorities are in having nice basics as far as the clothing goes. As much as I would like to be more artistic in how I dress, I think the basic comfortable pieces is just the reality for me. And where I like to express a little bit more is in the bags and the shoes. And so that is another reason why I'm not in a rush to get rid of any bags and shoes in particular. And, while I'm not going to be acquiring any more, I think having a larger than average collection of these kinds of accessories, bags and shoes, is okay for me. And if I could go back and unbuy them all, would I buy the extent that I have now? No. But I will continue to live with what I have and let things wear out naturally and just see where that takes me. And like I said, the video 5 Things I Regret featured me getting rid of one of my favorite pieces of clothing, or what I thought was one of my favorite pieces of clothing, with the lavender blazer. And after a few years of wearing it, after a couple of career changes, I wore that a lot more when I was a school teacher, incidentally. I never thought I would let that piece go. And in this day and age, today, this year, this month, I let it go. And so it might come, the day might come to pass where I start letting go of the accessories that I feel like make my style and make my outfits. But definitely step 1 is to master the art of not buying anymore. So with that, I think I will leave you for today. This was another longer than intended video, and I need to get on with it. So tell me about your response to summer trends and personal style. How dialed in are you to personal style? Are you interested in having one, having a distinctive one? You just want to blend in and wear comfy clothes? Like, where are you at with your journey or your experience of style? And with that, I will say bye for now and see you in the next one.